Hey Posh Hearts, it's Simone here. I am super excited for our training today. So we are doing our Back to Basics series. So we started out with our little triangle, rectangle heart, and now we are doing, my paper is over there. the why, how, what, and then now we are going to go over. And then and last week was a different topic. We went over pay plan basics. And this week we are going to go over sampling and how to get Posh out on people, basically. If you guys are brand new or if you guys have been around for a while, there are so many different ways to sample. That's kind of the one thing that I want to remind everybody is that there are so many different ways to sample things. You can think outside of the box. You can copy what everyone else is doing. You can try different things out and find what works for you. But the most important thing to keep in mind is your goal. And your goal is to get Posh on the people, right? So, hey Megan. If you guys have questions on anything, feel free to leave a comment. But the biggest thing that you guys have to keep in mind is that your end goal is to get Posh on the people, which is get Posh on the people. And so that's part of the why, how, three-step thing, right? So you love it, you share your experience, and then you build a business. And so this is kind of like step 2. How do you share with others? If you guys are new and you guys have your starter kit, I recommend that you take some of those products that you got in your starter kit and use those for samples. You did get samples in your kit as well, but not every product is sampled or even available in portal samples. So if you can figure out how to sample, then it's going to be really great for your business, because no one's going to buy these products or any of the skincare products or understand how amazing the BFF is without trying it, right? And honestly, a little bit goes a really long way. So when you are sampling things out, you don't need to put a bunch of something in there. The whole idea of samples are to give them, a sample size, like 1 to 2 tries. They get a good feel of it, and if they want more, they can contact you, or, obviously you follow up and see how they liked it and all that stuff. So the question is, do you find it cheaper to use Mylars or Lakeons? Mylars are cheaper. So the Mylar heat and seals versus the Lakeons, I think it really just depends on personal preference. I personally have never really gotten used to using the heat and seals for my business. I definitely want to try it, so I actually have an order coming my way so that I can try it out with a few things, because there's a few things that I feel like are presented better in the heat seals. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's like our portal samples, right, where they're sealed, and you can buy these on Amazon, but the Mylars, not these obviously, but has a little tab here that they can rip off, and you can just put a label on it and you send it out or give it out, whatever. But it's really, from what I understand, it's personal preference and what you like. But I do find that some things, or I personally really like Lakeons. It's what I started with. It's what I'm used to. But I will be trying out the Mylars just to see, just for certain things, because I feel like certain things kind of are presented better in the heat and seals. So I think it's just up to you. Some people have a hard time using the Mylars because they have a hard time putting in enough product in there without it overfilling. So that's what I've heard. I'm not sure what your guys' preferences are. If you guys do have a preference, let me know. But the Lakeons, these little plastic Lakeons, are my preference. Now, yeah, so keep that in mind. Sampling is up to you, how you guys want to do it. But here are my kind of sample basics. I've done a lot of trainings on this, so if you guys want specifics on any of it, let me know. But for the most part, there are 2 kinds of containers that we use, or that are recommended, right? So we've got the Lakeons, and then we've got the heat seals, which I don't have a good example yet because they're on the way to me. But there's the heat seals and there's the Lakeons. Now, what's very, very important with both types of samples is that you have to make sure that you put a label on there. Make sure that whatever you're doing, anything that leaves your hands has your information on it so that that person can find you again. Lakeons are pea size for you, Jamie? Okay, yeah. But like labels. So I've got these Rotec labels, I've got round labels, I've got portal labels, I have the address labels that I print my own labels off on. And so really, you don't need to necessarily go off and buy every single thing that's available in the portal in order to sample. If you're brand new or if you are on a low budget, I think that you really just have to look at what's kind of do the math. And I do have some kind of girl math kind of equation things to go over what are good values and what aren't good values. But either way, you guys have to just kind of see what works for you. But the plus side of doing your own samples is that you're getting PV on it. So you're buying the product, you're getting the PV on it, which means you're not only getting closer to pink if you're not pink yet, you are also getting commission on it. Okay, so that is kind of the pro on doing that, on doing them yourself. Now, another thing that's really cool about doing them yourself is that you can make more samples than are available in the portal. Yes, portal samples can be sold out very quickly. They're restocked every Tuesday, but it's not available for every product. You don't know what products are going to be available. So with what you're making, you can pick which ones you want to sample. Maybe you are obsessed with a certain product that you've never seen in a portal sample. Well, if you're obsessed with it, you can probably talk about it forever, which means people are going to be able to see the passion that you have for that product. So it's going to be a good idea for you to sample it out. So figure out a way to sample it out, whether it be Lakeons or the heat and seals. Another thing that is important to have are baggies. They don't necessarily have to be Ziplocs. These are 3x4 size. I guess, so these are Ziplocs that you can find in the craft section of any store, like the jewelry section of any craft store. And we have seen people put things in here, like they've put lip scrubs, or they've put lip mask or the lip oil in it in here, and just like directly in here, and then they tape a Q-tip on the outside of it, or they label it with whatever it is, and share it with their customer. I have also seen before where people take spoons or like wooden popsicle sticks or just wooden sticks of any kind, or little tiny mini spatulas, and they've scooped the product and they've put it in a Ziploc bag to give to people, and that works as well. So like I said, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I've seen so many different ways to sample, and do what works for you. One time I was out of containers, I was out of everything. And I went to the store, I got the little paint pots, the paint pots where you can put paint in it, and I cut those up and I used those as samples, and that worked out really well. I think you need to get the main stuff. For sure you need a Snarky to chop up, a big fat yummy hand cream to carry around, body butter and scrub to put in Lakeons, facial cleansers, moisturizers, and masks. For sure. The one thing that you should have on you, if you are low on budget and just cannot possibly get any extra supplies, the best tool for you is to carry around a hand cream. Any hand cream, your favorite hand cream. And share it with people when you take it out. When you take it out at the store to use it, it might be a great conversation starter. Ask somebody if they want some hand cream. If you guys know the hand creams are awesome, and that just one try and people are like, what is this? This is different, right? The one thing I really like to sample out are the chunks. So I have a bag of the Rico Guave chunks here, and I have a bag of the Yugo Cocoa that I've sliced up. This is one of my favorite things to sample out because I'm a huge fan of our chunk bars, and I feel like these are super easy to sample. Obviously, you can get the portal samples, but when you don't have the money or anything for the portal samples, make your own. And you can very easily get more than 30 samples from one chunk bar. And they're super easy to package up because then you can just throw it in a Ziploc baggie. You can stick a sticker on it, put a label on it, and you're good to go. You can stick a business card in here even. These fit here as well, so if you're getting like 2 samples, you can give a Mylar or a portal sample in here with this, or you can throw in some Lakeons in with this. What I really like this size of the Ziploc bags because I can put six samples in here. So like I can do a chunk sample and 5 other Lakeons, and then I can even put my business card in here as well. And this is a really easy pampering pack. Or a mini facial. You can throw 3 in a Ziploc. A mini facial is super easy with some instructions. Yeah, making chunk samples is very relaxing actually, and it's like watching the videos are even more like satisfying. It's kind of ridiculous, but it is. This is a sample of this Snarky bar. This time I used an address label, and I did post. Nicole did a training on how she did this, and so this is kind of how I copied from her, but you guys can check out the training on that. But this is another way to do it with an address label rather than a round label, because round labels can be a pain to get aligned. Another thing you can do is, so the address labels, this is another idea I got from Nicole, but the address labels, so this would be one strip of the address label. So there's 3 of these on a page, and I've ripped them up into 3. But you print them out, and you see that I have, each address label has 2 chunks on here. So I cut that up, and that makes it very easy to just label all of my samples. So that's another thing to do. Like I said, this is just an example of what I've been currently doing. This is just because the round labels are super pretty and stuff doesn't mean you have to use them, especially if it drives you absolutely insane to align the stickers. You can easily find something that will work for you. Like a rectangle label will work on a Lakeon. It's not going to be the end of the world. If you have to handwrite it, that's fine too. I've done that many a times. I love to label the back of my Lakeons as well with my Rotec labels here. These are very inexpensive. They're super tiny, as you can see. So I find those to be a really great investment, good business tool, because I buy like 10 at a time, like 10 sheets at a time, and it lasts me forever. I label all my products. I label all my samples. Sometimes if it's a brochure with a tiny little spot for name, I'll put that on there as well. Yeah, address labels and like rectangular labels look very cute on the Mylars, for sure. Yeah, making samples is super relaxing, I think. I mean, sometimes it's a pain because you have like a billion things all around you at once, but I think it's super fun. So here's my Lakeon container holder, sample holder. This is something I got at Hobby Lobby for like a few bucks. It didn't cost a whole lot, but let me just show you guys what I've got here. So this is how I kind of organize it. But this is what a portal sticker looks like on a Lakeon. This is the 1/20th size with the Rotec label on the back. If you are doing the 1/9 size, it's going to be a little bit fatter. The 1/9 size is, oh, it's right here. This is the 1/9. This is the 1/20th. Oop, where's that? There you go. Sorry guys, I had bad internet for a second. Use a Sharpie. That's a good idea too. Don't make things harder than they have to be, or you will never get things done. Very true. Okay, but there's that if you guys missed that before. So those are the differences. If you guys, the 1/9 are the ones that are available in the Posh portal. These ones are good if you want to put more in it. So if you're doing like something that's thicker, like a body scrub, that would work well on these. But usually, and for the majority of my Posh life, I've been using the 1/20th, and it's worked just fine. What are your guys' favorite things to sample out? Like, what's the biggest return for you guys? Like the thing that you sample out and you know you're gonna get a sale from it. For me, it is the BFF for sure. That is whenever I'm sending out samples, and especially if it's a new person, so if it's a new pampering pack or whatever that I'm sending out, or a recruiting pack or anything, I make it a point to send out a BFF and a moisturizer, whether it be night and day or Moisturize 911. Moisturize 911 is my favorite, so I usually throw that one in there. But those are the ones that are like, people try it, they absolutely fall in love, and they love it, and they have to have it. And then BFF is really cool too because you only need like a pea-sized amount, and it looks kind of ridiculous in a Lakeon, but that's what's actually, I've actually had people tell me that they thought it was a ridiculous amount until they tried it and they realized that actually went a really long way, and they used it more than once, or were able to get more than one use out of it. So some other popular ones that people have had good things with is facials, any combo. When Laura got a lotion, she was hooked. And then the Big Fat Yummy hand cream is something Jamie puts in every time. But the Snarky is the second thing. Nice. Yeah, see, hand cream I think is another thing that should always go in there as well because it, again, is something that people do not realize how amazing it is. The Snarky is another one where I feel like people really have to try it to understand how amazing it is. But that kind of goes for all of the products, so I'm not sure how I guess I could say that for all the products. But Snarky is definitely one of my favorite products as well, and something that I could talk about forever, so that's why I do have some samples here already cut. But yeah, so this is kind of a very, very overview of samples. But the one thing that I guess I said this in the beginning, but the things that I want you guys to remember are that the most important thing for you to focus on is to get Posh on the people. Sharing it with people is going to be the best thing for you to do. Sharing, not just posting and telling people, hey, I have a business, here's my website, come by. No, share the product. Let people try it. Let them feel it. Let them see the texture. If you are somebody that wants to build a social media presence, keep that in mind when you are posting. Show people that you are using the product. Show them what the product looks like, how the texture is, how little they need to use, and convey that in pictures and videos and whatnot. Like, if they can't try it, at least they feel like they can try it through you, is what I'm trying to say, with social media. But if you are low on trying to get sample, or low on a sample budget, then think outside the box. What can you do to get Posh on the people? Carry hand cream around, right? Invite people over to hang out and have your Posh out. It's low-key. It's not like they're here for a sales pitch. They're there to come hang out, pamper themselves, have a facial if they want. And that's another really great way to share with people. That is not super spammy, because we don't want to spam people. Oh yeah, BFF is a total game changer, and Beach Blanket is one of the best scents ever. Which body scrub, Charlie, is your favorite right now? Body scrubs and body lotions are one of the couple of the products that I don't sell a ton of, but it's partly because I don't use them a ton. I do use the scrubs more than I use the lotions, but I don't talk about it a ton. And like I said, it really just depends on what your favorite products are. So if you ever do an event, or if you ever do a party or anything like that, you're going to find yourself talking about your favorite products. So there's really no point in having every single product available to test if you're never going to mention it. In fact, I don't even really carry or put out any of the Play Footsie products or any of the hair products because I just don't talk about it. Some of the hair products I will talk about, but I don't necessarily have it on hand. And the foot stuff I do love, but I don't. If it was up to me, I would talk about the Snarky bar over the Rubby Scrubby. So I have Rubby Scrubbies, but I don't have Snarky bars. So if you are new and you're feeling like you need everything? You don't, especially if you're not going to talk about it. And so you really can have a very small table, so a small sampling of our catalog, and still be able to succeed, because having everything there just makes people feel very overwhelmed. But if you're narrowing it, it's going to be a lot easier for everybody. You're going to be able to talk about the products that you love, and they're not going to feel overwhelmed with everything that's there. Charlie, like Blacklist, that is one that I need to use more. So I need to use more of that one. Awesome, Laura. Beach hair, don't care is perfect. And if you're a beach obsessive, a beach person, I love like my hair when I've been at the beach. So I was super excited for beach hair. But yeah, so definitely something that you guys have to keep in mind is that share the products. Let people see you using them. Okay, so one thing I didn't talk about was Facebook parties. So Facebook parties, sampling out, it's up to you how you decide to do it, but one way of doing samples for a Facebook party is to send your hostess samples, and then send or send like 5 of her VIPs sample packs, and then ask them to share their experiences on the page, the event page. The reason why is because obviously you don't want to send out 50 sample packs because you have no idea who's going to buy and who's not. But it's also important that you have them talk about the products, because the guests at that event know those people. They trust these people. They trust the hostess. They trust the hostess's sister more than they're going to trust you, right? So you want them to talk about it. So that's very important. But what happens if you cannot send out samples, or you're low, and how do you present a product when you cannot send out a sample? Like I said, what you're going to do is, that's where videos come into play, and that's where being more comfortable with taking pictures of yourself and selfies actually really are important. It's not necessarily there just to be self-indulgent. It's there for you to show a customer how big the Big Fat Yummy hand creams are, how little that they need to use when they use it, right? How it soaks into your skin super nicely, and that you can do things immediately afterward, right? So that is like an example of the Big Fat Yummy hand cream, but you can do that with like the BFF, show people that you only need this much, and look, I'm great, right? So that's one reason why, yeah. So basically, if you cannot share a physical sample, make them feel like they've tried it with you, right? You've smelled it, it smells amazing, this is what it smells like, describe it. Don't just say it's amazing, say it reminds you of something, or you know what I mean? Paint a picture for them. Charlie, you've had a great return on live videos and Facebook parties that way? On Facebook Live videos and parties, Facebook parties, that way I can answer questions right away. Do you mean, doing live videos and Facebook parties? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we do have, Facebook Live is one of those things that I actually didn't know if I liked immediately. Like, it actually took me a while to even figure out what I was going to use it for. But I definitely think that you got to get comfortable with being in front of the camera. If you want to build a Facebook party business, or any social media gathering, you just have to, you got to practice. Practice is going to make it so much more comfortable, and it's going to be better for you, just because you're going to be able to have that FaceTime with the customer, make them feel like you are doing, that you are helping, which you are. You're trying to help, but it's a lot easier to do it in this format. All right, does anyone have any questions on sampling or how to get out there to share with people? This one, like I said, was just a very kind of an overview of a lot of the things that we have talked about before, but this is something just wanted to kind of put out there again. Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Okay. See, I love that, Charlie. My hostesses can talk up their faves, and I can show certain products that they don't have yet or help them make decisions. I love that. Laura, what social media has worked the best for you? YouTube by far, by like a landslide, Laura. I talk about, I've mentioned this a billion times, but YouTube was a game changer for me, and that's saying something because there was no way ever was I going to do a video, like ever. Like I didn't even want to take selfies. I didn't want to do any of that, and but then someone was like, mask selfies are one of my best business tools, and I was like, that is the weirdest recommendation I've ever heard. This was years ago, and I was like, all right. So then I did it, and the first time I did a mask selfie and posted it, I had people asking about it, and I was like, oh crud, it worked. And so I was like, all right, well, but I mean, you understand why people want to see you using them. It's not just a product; it's the lifestyle kind of thing, right? You're not just out to sell and make a buck. You're out there to show people like you love this because of this, this, and this, and you want to share with people why, right? You want to share with people that you love the pampering aspect of things. Like for me, that's what initially drew me was the fact that even if you don't have 5 minutes to, money or time to spend a day at the spa, you have 5 minutes a day to take care of yourself and pamper yourself, even if it's just with a hand cream. And that spoke volumes to me, so that's what I like to share with people. But yeah, so definitely social media works. My biggest thing has been YouTube, but obviously I also use Facebook, I use Instagram, but even if you're using those things, you have to be aware that you're not going to gain as much of a following if you are not personalizing it. So there was a video that Lisa Renee posted today about branding strategy, and the thing that she said in there that really stood out to me was that people like to buy from people that they know, like, or trust, and trust. And that's something that I think you have to keep in mind, is that you're out there to make relationships, and you're out there to share. You're not necessarily out there for a quick 10-minute sale. You're out there to form a relationship. Understand, maybe you sympathize with that person because you understand how hard it is to be a working mom with kids, or a stay-at-home mom with kids, or a college student, or whatever, right? But if you have that relationship and you're genuinely out there to help them in any way you can, that really speaks volumes. But you can only do so if you're actually showing people that and letting people look a little bit inside your personal life, just to get to know you a little bit. You don't have to let everyone know everything about you, but just enough that you do use the products. This is important to you. Yeah, that kind of turned for the that kind of turned to the social media aspect of things rather than sampling, but that works. Do you guys have any other questions? Anything else I can answer for you guys? Cool. Well, then I am going to jump off. But something I just remembered is that, like I said, you want to form relationships with people, right? So do not put a sample form out there for anybody in the world to fill out, and then you're going to send out that sample and then never follow up. Okay? Keep that in mind, is that you want to make sure that your goal isn't necessarily to send out a billion samples. You want to actually form a relationship with these people, and you want to make sure you're following up. So make sure whoever you are sampling to, you are following up with them, okay? Keep that in mind, because that is actually probably the most important thing, is that sampling, they're getting a sample, but in return, you're going to get something, right? You're going to get something because either they're going to join your VIP group, or they are going to post a review for you somewhere, or, they're going to let how they like it, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. Don't forget to follow up. I know it can be scary sometimes, but there are many ways that you can do it without feeling like you are intruding. So if you guys have any questions, if you guys have any any ways to sample that I did not mention, let me know. I'd love to hear it. I'm always looking for new ways to do stuff. And yeah, share here if you guys have any questions. I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Let me make sure that I'm not missing any questions. Okay, I think I'm good. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful night, and I will see you guys next week.